Hi, and welcome to the extra snug edition of Race Reviews with Billy and Sam. We're laughing because we just put on our extra medium shirts from the 70.3 Texas, and Billy is repping for Farmers Only, and I look like you don't want to make me angry.
So I have a group of guys.
We should do a serious, actually, review, because that...
I think it's funny.
Okay.
So I have a group of guys that I play basketball with. We hadn't played in a couple years because COVID. But we played this past Monday, and I get there, and the first thing I say, "Hey, Billy, how's it going? When did you buy a tractor?" Because I got the old farmer stand going on really good. So this is the first time that I put on this shirt, and it's a medium, and it's kind of snug. And I remember when she handed them to us, checking to make sure that they were mediums, and they are mediums. But I just looked.
He wanted to verify, so
they are still mediums.
Yeah, we're gonna peel this off later.
But they're women's mediums. So when you check in late and you get your stuff at like the very end, you get whatever they give you, and what they gave us
was women's mediums.
So I just double checked yours to make sure it was the same, but it was the same.
That's funny. So this is what the women's shirt looked like. I have no idea. Okay, that explains so much. Wow. All right.
I mean, it makes me look like I got some guns.
It makes me look swollen.
All right.
So you guys,
what else you get at check-in?
Really want to make sure you pay attention.
Is the wet bag, which we got these in
last year,
or dry bags.
Dry bags, 2021.
2021. I'm guessing that this is left over from. Have we done any U.S. Ironman races? Is this the first U.S. Ironman race that we've done?
Yes.
So we've gotten backpacks at Panama, Dubai, Australia, Oman. Are there any other? So if this is the first U.S., I wonder if they're going to give out dry bags again this year.
I sure hope not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I mean, at least this one has the Texas
and
logo and everything.
nice
It's not
colors.
just the
Yeah,
plain.
it's
Yeah.
fine.
So anyway, first U.S. Ironman that we've done this year.
Yeah, this was the opening weekend for Ironman in the U.S.
Okay. So, I guess let's just go. So
we're going to jump right into it. This was a double weekend for us, so I cannot speak for what check-in looked like. I will say we did get race day check-in. When you're setting a world record, they make exceptions that they will not give to anybody else. So do not expect race day check-in ever. If your plane is late, if you're whatever, if there's aliens, I'm sorry, it's Ironman. They don't care. Now, if you're spending a lot of money with Ironman doing a world record, then they will make an exception. But that's it. So that's the only way we've ever been able to get anything out of them, and that's so. I feel like
we still pay the regular rate for these Ironman races. They're not giving us any discount or anything. But we have gotten to meet a lot of cool Ironman people, and they have been super helpful to us.
No, they can. So that is probably the moral of the story for that. Please introduce yourself to Ironman people. If you do a bunch of races, do more than one race a year, they all work similar races. So you'll see them. It's fun. They get excited, and it's exciting to see them. So yeah,
I mean, these are big races. There was 2,500 people in this
is a
race.
Giant race.
So when they see somebody that they've seen before, then it's cool to them. And when you see somebody that you've seen before, it's cool to you. So, I mean, develop a relationship with these people, and do not be jerks to them, because they do lots of races.
Yeah.
And anyway.
So that's our disclaimer for the race day check-in. But so this is a massive parking lot. There's 2,500 people, and they could probably still make this thing bigger. Yeah. Excuse me. There were not 2,500 people in this race. There were 2,500 spots. There were at least 200 or 300 stickered spots that were not there. From what I understand, we had travel problems getting there. That was not uncommon. So, just whatever. It was a weather thing in the southeastern U.S. So I wouldn't expect that anywhere else. But so you set up your bike. There was plenty of room.
T1 and T2 in the same place.
Yeah. How many bikes per rack did we count?
Never counted, but I didn't. I had an empty space next to me, so I had plenty of room.
I also had an empty space.
It was at least 6. I don't recall it. It was probably 6. I mean, because it didn't seem crowded.
It did not seem crowded.
They opened the transition fairly early. I think it opened at 5, and the race started at 7. Set up transition. They had announcers there talking about stuff, and then you walked to the swim start. And the swim start was not close, and the line was giant.
Yes.
And we were in the very back of the line because, I mean, we were gassed from the day before, so there was no reason for us to really be towards the front of the line. But by the time that we had gotten there, there weren't any more signs, like, for the corrals.
Yeah. And so we had to be in the over 50.
Yeah, so we were in the very back, and that was a mistake.
So yeah, go ahead and show up a little earlier, push up a little bit. I don't want to call it, I don't know what to call it. Maybe a triangle, maybe a flag. I don't know. It's a weird shape. You had one turn, then you went down, and then you had kind of 2 turns. Yeah,
I mean, it was basically you came off of this dock, you hung a right, you went down a little bit, you took a left, and then you took a left, and you went way further down past the dock.
Yeah.
You took a left, and then you came back in. So more of a U, but you went over and down.
So a strange shape, not really defined, but were you into the sun for the first little bit? Or no, you were coming back in the last
little bit. So you want tinted goggles for this because you are in the sun for the last little bit. If you start earlier, you have less sun.
Yes, less sun and less wind.
I mean, if you are a fast swimmer, start at the front.
Yeah.
If you are an okay swimmer, start closer to the front. The further that you start to the back, the worse it's going to be for you.
We had this is post-COVID. And so there were more than 1,000 first timers in this race, and anytime you have a lot of first timers, that comes with just they don't know. It's not their fault that they don't know what they don't know. But there were 2 of them were swimming breaststroking 2 abreast. They
were side by side in the lane doing breaststroke. And I mean, don't, if you're a first timer, don't do that, please. Yeah. I'm not saying that you can't breaststroke. You can breaststroke, but kind of move outside of the lane.
Just move
because
away
the way that you're breaststroking, you're going to kick whoever's behind you. I mean, that's and they're just swimming normally, and you kick them in the head, and they're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, and this is brackish water. You can't see anything.
Yeah,
I guess bay water is probably really.
So I swam. There were red buoys at the turn, and then colored buoys on in between the turns. I swam on the inside of the buoys and had no issues and had plenty of. I mean, like everybody else swam on the outside. There were a few people that swam on the inside, but almost everybody else swam on the outside. So that's a way that you can either swim way on the outside to avoid people, or you can swim on the inside and you have.
So remember, any turn buoys you have to be on the outside of, but the other ones are just sighting buoys. So turn buoys, which are a different color, generally red. You have to follow the rules and you have to be on the outside of them, but then you could cut back inside, go along, and so yes, it'll make your life a whole lot easier.
And if you're going to swim on the inside, don't swim way inside because there's the lifeguards and stuff are in there, and you're just making yourself go longer. Just swim just to the inside of those buoys, and almost everybody feels like you need to be on the outside, and that's not the rule. You don't have to do that.
So swim. I don't really have. There was nothing. You jump off of the dock into the swim. Water was wetsuit legal.
It was cold.
It was a little brisk when we jumped in. It was not. It's not the worst we've ever had, but it was 70.
Yeah.
So just I don't
know. It wasn't a shock that made you catch your breath or anything, but it was not warm water.
It was you jumped
clearly
into
wetsuit legal, and you would probably want to wear a wetsuit in this.
Yes, I agree with that. So you come out of the water. It's a kind of a jog. A little jog. It's not terribly bad. to get up to transition, but they had carpet most of the way, didn't they? And then we got to the
grass
to the asphalt. Yeah, so you had carpet through the grass, and then asphalt till you get to your spot.
300 yards, maybe.
Yeah,
between 200 and 300 yards, I would guess, from the swim exit to actual transition. And transition's actually really big. I mean, 2,500 bikes, it's going to be big. So depending on where your bike is and all of that, you've got to jog to get to your bike, and then once you get your bike, you can head out.
So bike is I'm going to call it out and back. There's a little bit to get out to the main road that you're getting on, and then it reminds me a lot of A1A in Florida. It's down, it's turn around, and you come back. It was tailwind out, headwind back. This is important because tailwind out, a bunch of new people. Everybody I saw, I kept save it. You are not naturally biking 22 miles an hour easily. So, that just happens with new people. I mean, we've all been there where, I'm having a great day and then you turn around and the wind hits you and it's just a smack in the face. But yeah, there was a lot of people having trouble on the way home, not because it was that much harder. I mean, it was that much harder to ride, but not because of the difficulty of the ride, but because they had spent more gas on the way out than they should have.
So for me, so what we were told was the wind is the mildest that it's been in a really long time. It was an hour and 17 or 18 minutes out, and an hour and 42 minutes back for me. So that was the difference.
Yeah.
And it's truly an out and back. The roads that you go out on are the exact same roads that you come back on. And the main road that you went out on, you were on it for a really long time. And you didn't, on the way out, you knew that there was a tailwind, but it wasn't like it was pushing you. But you made the U-turn, and it hit you right in the face. You knew immediately, dang it, there's a headwind. And there really was. It was significant, but it was not unbearable.
Yeah, it was not as bad as Egypt.
So I remember we started in the very back. So if we're going to start in the very back, I want to pass some people. So I started counting. And I was like, I wonder how many people I can count. I was like, man, we're in the back. There's 2,500 people in this. I can pass 300 people. 300. I can pass 300 people. I can do that. On the way out, I passed 117 people.
Okay.
I was like, And I turned around, and that's where you get the people.
How many did you get?
200, and it was almost twice as many. I want to say 222 or something like that. It was. And I wasn't even pushing it because, dude, we had just done the race the day before.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a good time, but like a good finish time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trying to set any records or anything. I'm not saying that you have to intentionally save it, but you have to understand that when you make that turn, you're not going to go as fast as you were before. Just do your same cadence, the same power, however it is that you measure your bike, your effort or whatever. Just use the same effort on the way back as you are on the way out, and you'll be fine. And you won't be frustrated, and you won't get off the bike and think, I can't go any further.
I passed a girl at one point, and I could see her bouncing in her seat right as she's pedaling, which means she's just in the wrong gear. So in my head, it was a very calm, hey, gear down on your cassette. So make it more difficult, because your energy is being spent in the wrong spot. I don't know what I actually said, but she looked like I had scared the crap out of her, and she clearly did not understand what I was saying. I just kept on going, so I never know what happened to her. Hopefully,
I said, "Hey, gear down, and she was like, "Gear down? What the heck? Did I drop something?
Yeah.
What happened?"
It's probably exactly what happened. Oh man. But yeah,
did you find anybody to talk to on the bike?
A few. Yeah, I
had some good
had some good people to talk to.
Nice.
So yeah, it was when you have more than 70 people in a race from Ocala the day before. It helps a lot. There are people that are going roughly your speed.
The roads were excellent. We have never said this about a Texas race ever, and we've done a half a dozen different Texas races.
I spent more than an hour of the bike trying to figure out exactly because I feel like I should apologize to the Texas DOT that they don't all suck. But I feel like I should really just compliment whoever's in charge of the Galveston DOT because you guys rock. Yes.
So this is the deal. We are filming this in 2022. If you are watching this in 2027, the roads are probably going to suck. But between 2022 and 27, they had just paved the
nice
roads.
New road.
It was that the main road that you were on had just been paved within the last year.
Yeah.
So if you did this race in whenever the last time that they had this race, then you're probably looking at us like, man, I've been on those roads and they suck.
Yeah.
They just got paved. So and they're beach roads, so they're not going to last very long. So that's why I'm saying 5 years. 5 years from now, you're probably going to be saying, these aren't the greatest roads. But if you're looking at this film for 2023, oh, you're going to be jammed up good.
Yeah, no, good roads. So headwind, I saw a few full sail, solid back wheels, solid front wheels. It didn't seem to bother them.
Solid front wheel?
Yeah.
Really? I've never seen a solid front wheel.
Maybe just solid back wheel.
Okay.
Just a deep dish and a deep dish front wheel.
Oh, it could be a deep dish, yeah.
So, just be careful. We had a race report from Mike that he said 1 year it was a crosswind, and there are, the buildings that would come between the buildings, and so, hit it and just push you out. So just be careful. But yeah, great smooth bike. Fantastic. So
eight stations were in the proper place. There was one at mile 14-ish, one at the turnaround 28-ish, and one at mile 42-ish. Perfect spot for the 8 stations. Volunteers were all jam up. Really good. Now that it was a closed course ish.
Yeah.
4-lane road, 1 lane was ours, 1 lane was the cars. But in order to do that, you had to change. They had to stop traffic, and you had to cross traffic.
Yeah.
And so the poor cars. So on the out, so once you cross, there's a bridge that you cross. Yeah. They closed the bridge, so it was just a 2-lane bridge. Yeah. So you did that, and you went out for just a few miles, turned around, and came back. And then you're on the right side, but eventually you need to get to the left side. So you're on the right side, you pass the aid station, and then they stop traffic at some point and move you over to the left side, and so traffic is backed up. So just be aware of that. Same thing as you're going out, you make the right-hand turn, there's traffic on your left as you're going out, and you're riding towards the right. So there's cars on the same road as you. They're just not in the same lane as you. So it is closed.
Yeah, I'd call it a closed course.
But there are cars. If you make a mistake and you move over, or if you're, if people are riding 3 wide and you're trying to be the 4th person to pass all 3 of those people, and you go outside of the cone, so you're going into traffic.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. So just be aware that there are cars on the same road as you.
All right, so we get on to the run.
Yeah, tell me about your run. So this is a double, and you've been fighting an Achilles injury since August, right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It kind of hurt a little bit.
I bet.
So I don't know. I actually it stung a few times. I stretch out. Like I'll do that first mile and then try to get some stretching, some loosen it up, get it warmed up, and loosen it up. And it usually is okay for one race. For a double, no, not so much.
Not so much for 2.
My knees actually kind of hurt for the first time in a while. So injury report.
This is the first. So we were supposed to do a double in March. I don't remember. Maybe it had been a month ago. The Miami Orlando and the Orlando tornadoes. Orlando had tornadoes, so we couldn't do it. Which I mean, come on, man. The tornado is the perfect way to have the tailwind out and the tailwind back. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get that, right?
Also, it was raining. We were standing in the hotel, and it's raining like that. So, I don't think we missed much.
No, we didn't. It was disappointing to miss out on the double, but this was, and we have one more double on the schedule.
We have one more
double on the schedule.
Hellacious double on the schedule.
So, I mean, is it getting any better? Same?
It had been getting better. So, it'll be fine. It'll be the summer year of surgery or whatever else. Summer of doctors trying to figure out what I've done to myself. But the run is interesting. I feel like somebody said it looked like a drunken frat boy's walk home. It felt fine. You went over, that one bridge you went over and back, and that's really the only real elevation. You did go up a little hill by Schlitterbahn, like where we walked down to the swim start.
There was none of the hills were more than 10 feet high.
Yeah.
Even the bridge. Maybe 15. But it wasn't a big bridge. It was just kind of...
It was not bad. I'm with you. I don't know about 10. It wasn't a huge bridge, but 10 feet feels a little ridiculous. It was more than that, really.
It wasn't.
But it was long. It was shallow. Yes, it was not a bad bridge. I'm with you. I don't know.
How many times did we do this course? 3 times?
Three loops.
So 3 loops.
And every time we've had a 3-loop international course, we've had some kind of band or marker or something.
They just expected everybody to be wearing Garmin.
Yeah, I think if you can count to 3, they expected you to be a big boy or girl. And can you count to 3? Yes, perfect. This is the course for you. But there wasn't an issue. I always like the band because it gives me something to look forward to. But it clearly is not necessary.
It really did have a ton of turns and U-turns and squiggly lines, but it didn't bother me.
It did not.
There was a ton of spectators out there. They were all cheering you on. There were 4 aid stations? 4 aid stations. I tried to count them. There were at least 4. They're possible that there were 5. And you only hit that 5th one twice.
I was ready to say that there was almost too many aid stations. There were more than sufficient aid stations that I was like, wow, this is almost too many.
So between 12 aid stations and 14, because that last aid station, I think you only hit twice, so it could have been 14. So there were a lot, and so on my run walk cadence, I ended up running between the aid stations. All I did was walk the aid stations, which was perfect.
Nice.
But that's how close they were together.
Because this is...
And they all had plenty of stuff, never ran out of ice, never ran out of anything. So Greg, the race director, he does a lot of races, and he knows
how he does a fantastic job.
Texas is what he does. So good for him.
All right. So how were you feeling in the run? Happy? You good?
Yeah, I found somebody to talk to on the first, halfway through the first loop, and ran with her through halfway through the second loop, and then on the third loop found somebody who was kind of struggling, and so I was able to help them. But they mostly helped me.
Good for you.
How'd you feel on the run?
Yeah, I was.
Did you find anybody to talk to?
I kept moving around. I couldn't find anybody that I really liked their pace, so I found lots of people to talk to. So yeah, I had fun. That's so much better to have lots of people. Makes for a lot more fun.
It does.
So I was a bit hesitant with 3 laps. I was thinking that we were going to have lots of people on the course. We started in the back of the swim, and there was the delay, and so. Pretty early on in the bike, I'm seeing the fast bikers come back.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, so it's an out and back, and the further you get out before you start seeing bikers, that's how
the closer you are to them.
Right, right. And I want to say that the when I get out on the bike, the 45 mile. I think the lead bike was 45 miles ahead of me.
Yeah.
45 miles ahead
on a 56 mile course.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the starting in the back made a difference. But what I was trying to allude to was, with 3 loops, potentially you were going to have your entire field out on that run course all at the same time.
Yes.
And there were a lot of people, but I never felt overcrowded. I always felt like I could pass. I felt comfortable running side by side with somebody and allowing like a 1-lane pass.
The only place that I didn't like that it was too narrow was that going up over that bridge and doing the turnaround and coming back.
Yeah.
It was really only wide enough for maybe 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 or 4 total going both ways. And if you wanted to pass, you had to go outside of the cone. Well, if you go outside of the cone, there was traffic coming because there was road and there were cars. So that was what, maybe a half a mile out and back. I mean, you did it 3 times, and by the 3rd lap, it was fine. But yeah, that was the only place that I really felt the crowd did.
So all in all, I mean, I don't. Would you change anything to that course?
I mean, the bike course is what it is. I mean, I don't know that you could change any of it. I mean, out and back 1 loop, that was fine.
For the roads that we got to ride on, I'd deal with the winds all day long.
I think that maybe I would let 5 people in the swim at a time instead of 3, because it took more than an hour for us to. I mean, it was over an hour before.
Was it just 3? By the time we got there, I thought they were having 5 jump.
No, it was just 3. I'm pretty sure it's still 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. I mean, the deal is you're jumping off of a dock that has 2 like boat slip.
Yeah, you've only got so much room.
So you really do only have so much room for people to jump in. 3 was comfortable.
Yeah.
You were never swimming over anybody, and you swim kind of out of those boat slips and hang it right. So maybe 3 is all that they can do. But I would have liked the swim to go off a little bit faster.
Yeah, as big as that race is, I could give you that. You have a score? You got a comments?
And, loved the race. I mean, overall 6. I'll give it overall 6.
I'm with you. I think it's a 6 for me too. It's a really good race. I encourage it as a first time race. I wouldn't call it technical. I wouldn't call it. Difficult's the wrong word because it's hard because it is by virtue of the distance. But there was nothing that made it extra difficult that we were having any troubles with. So I understand why there are a lot of first timers on this race, and I think it's a good race for that.
It's probably not going to be a PR race for people just because of the wind. It is a flat course, but don't let that fool you. The wind acts as a hill, and they advertise that there's like this flat, windy course. Mm-hmm. I mean, they talk about it being a windy course.
So the swim for us was classy. They said it's not always that way. So get used to swimming with some waves, some chop. But yeah, I'm with you. This is a 6 course. It's really good. It's really well done. I've never had the complaint of too much water before, so kudos to them. I've got nothing that I could really change about it to make it a better course. I don't know. It's not a 7 course. It's not a 7 race for me. Just the where it is. So, but don't let that dissuade you.
Great race course.
So, kudos to Ironman 70.3 Texas. Stay tuned for our.
So we got
our
the medal.
finish.
Yeah, the finish. You got the medal and the hat. So
but
we got a black hat.
Pretty stoked about this, and it says somewhere on it 2022 finisher.
Yep, so good for you.
Thank you, Ironman. I really appreciate you listening to us and putting in our input. The black hat is super cool. I'm pretty sure it will show sweat very well, so it's going to be my formal hat, because it says I'm formal, but I like to party too. So this is my new airplane hat. But yeah, I like it very much.
Awesome.
So, thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for where we're going next, Napa. All right, thanks so much for watching.